Facts, our rivers, lakes, streams, and oceans are facing a crisis because they're filled with trash.
Yeah,
no guesses there. The Ocean Conservancy says volunteers collected more than 5 million pounds of trash from waterways around the world in 2020. Most of it is materials like cigarette butts, plastic bottle caps, and food trash.
Yeah, but that's not all there is in our waterways. Check this out.
Handcuffs, dude.
Dude, handcuffs, and a disk drive, a 3.5-inch floppy. Oh,
That's been there a minute.
Nice. That is awesome. I wonder where we could find a computer where you could actually look it up. And actual handcuffs, not like the toy handcuffs I found here last time. Oh, it's been there for a while.
I really hope someone is watching this and being like, what's a floppy?
I know. The save icon? What are they talking about? Right. Well, you can see right there why magnet fishing has taken off. And Jason Vanderwaal is with Motor City Magnet Fishers. Jason, thanks so much for being with us. We are both really intrigued by this. So can you just start by giving us a little description of what exactly is magnet fishing?
First, thank you very much for having me. Magnet fishing is using large, generally neodymium magnets on the end of a rope to drag along the bottom of the rivers and the waterways in order to collect magnetic debris. We get a lot of non-magnetic debris also to pull out. There's metal, bicycles, just about anything you can imagine at the bottom of our waterways.
Wow.
So let's talk about some of the items that you found. You mentioned bicycles. I'm sure that's one of the bigger ones. But what are some of the stranger and I guess more common things that you found in some of our waterways?
Couple of motorcycles. I've gotten a Harley Davidson, got a Honda CBR 600 a couple weeks ago, 59 firearms, 35 bicycles, old porcelain signs, a slot machine from probably the 30s.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
20 some pairs of handcuffs so far. We get a lot of voodoo and witchcraft and Ogun type stuff also.
Huh. So what do you do with all of this stuff after you find it?
We have several scrappers throughout the area that will come and actually collect the items after we pull it out. If we're not able to contact a scrapper, then we have to find a dumpster or a place that we can put it where it's no longer in the water and then not in the way or a trip hazard for other people.
Huh. That's a lot of different types of trash that you found. So in your experience of magnet fishing in America's rivers and streams and oceans, has that changed your view on how much trash and debris that we are infecting with our waterways?
Absolutely. In fact, it changed my perception of the way the bottoms of our rivers and lakes look so much that we've started hosting a cleanup every year to introduce children into magnet fishing so that they can see what's at the bottom of the river. We've been able to band with companies as well as a lot of supporters in order to raise funds to give magnet fishing kits to the children. It's been really successful. We've had a lot of fun with it. We've worked with other content creators like the Michigan Magnet Man and Scuba Sonia in order to bring these events to the Detroit metro area. And then in the next couple of years, we're actually planning on pushing them out to other areas like Flint and Saginaw, Grand Rapids, probably go down to Indiana, Illinois, other areas like that in order to try bring awareness to the youth to see what we've done to our waterways.
So Jason, this is honestly something that I'd never heard of before. So how did you get started in that? How did you even hear of this?
Right around the beginning of the pandemic, I was just working a ton of hours at work, and I was looking for something that my daughter and I could do outdoors to get her out of the house, to get myself out of the house. And I came across this on YouTube, saw a couple of content creators on YouTube. It looked like a lot of fun. And so I asked my wife for a magnet for my birthday, and then it's just been going ever since.
The rest is history, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned it's changed your views on how you see our waterways, our rivers, and our lakes. What is your message, if you could talk to the people who are tossing this trash in our waterways, what would you say to them?
Stop being lazy. There's usually a trash can 5 feet away from you. A lot of the stuff we pull out is, 80, 90, 100 years old too. So, I mean, people have been using the Detroit River as a trash can since 1701. So there's a lot going on here, and it's that way around most of the country. But just clean up after yourself. Stop throwing stuff in the water. It's really, really not good for the environment.
Yeah. Now, you've had some time to do some trial and error, it seems like. So maybe you can help some people who are interested in getting started kind of avoid some of the mistakes maybe you made early on. What would your advice be to people who might want to start this hobby?
If you're looking for a magnet, make sure you choose one that's going to be suited to your body type. Don't go for the biggest and baddest magnet. If you're 9 years old, it will get stuck. You will lose it. Make sure you have a good rope and have fun with it. If you go out to a spot and you don't find anything, smile because you found a clean spot of water. Try again the next day.
I feel like this is similar to metal detecting.
Yeah.
Where people it's like you never know what you're going to find. So every time you go out, it's an adventure. So
I also metal detect, and I get about the same thing either way, rusty metal.
So we've been seeing a lot of video of things that you found, and we've seen a lot of video of guns. So what happens when you pull up these guns from some of our waterways? What do you do with them?
So the proper thing to do is to contact local authorities, let them send out an officer to collect it, give your statement. They'll usually give you a case number. Michigan especially, you do have to do that with handguns. There are some states where it's up in the air. People don't think you should, but anytime you find a firearm, you definitely should contact the police.
Okay, so Jason, kind of quickly, I'm just curious, out of all the things that you've found, has there been anything where you're like, oh, I'm keeping this, I'm going to clean this up, and this is like going on the shelf, this is really cool?
I have a early 1900s porcelain glaze spittoon that I found along with an old slot machine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that's worth cleaning up and keeping. Well, Jason Vanderwaal from Motor City Magnet Fishers, thank you so much for joining us today. So interesting. I mean,